All right, good morning to you. It's Daybreak, iFiber 1 News Radio. I'm Jeff Slakey at 6:15, early morning guest, and like talking to folks making the news around the community, and this man no stranger over the last month or so. Welcome in Jason Dangercup Coots. Morning, Dangercup.
Morning. Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for having me on.
Dangercup.com is your website right now. Lots of folks visiting that.
That's correct. We have 1,700 people that have visited the site. The page views, last I checked, were above 7,000 people, so pretty popular site. A lot of good information on there.
What prompted you to start looking into the city commission here in the city of Shelton and some of the dealings that we've now seen in the news?
Well, when I saw, I believe Tracy brought up the idea of going to a 7-person council, and it was to shorten it up, it was she wanted to let the people vote, and at that time Gary and Kathy voted to silence the people that elected them, and I took offense to that. My thought was that they do a lot of their talking and then they vote the same most of the time behind the scenes, not in the meetings, and so I went about trying to prove that, and I requested all of their public records, their emails, text messages, Facebook, everything I could get. How
did you go about doing that? What was that process like? Was it time consuming, and how long did it take you to get those results?
I submitted on October 9th, and then I think I started getting information later in the month. It took a few weeks. I imagine it was a tremendous job.
Yeah.
I did work with the city and narrowed down some things, and so that eased it up a little bit. But even right now, I have 300 of the 600 pages I'm going to get from Kathy McDowell's Facebook.
And post those all on your website?
Yeah, everything goes straight from the only thing I do is I go through and I highlight in one color things that are illegal, and then in another color it's just, and that's the majority of the stuff is, not to minimize the illegal stuff, but the majority of the stuff is stuff that just outright isn't appropriate for an elected official to say about city staff and the people that they represent.
I guess then the question is, what makes you the authority to determine what is appropriate for city staff, to talk about city staff?
I don't know that I am the authority. I know that I feel the way I feel, and until this, I didn't really think about city government, and this has kind of spiked my interest. And then when I put it out, it seems to have spiked the interest of quite a few people, and so
seems like there's more and more attending the city meetings.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great. I've had a great response. You know, when I first put it out, I didn't know what the response was going to be. I didn't know if there was going to be backlash on me, but I've had very supportive response. And as far as I started looking into the legality of conversations behind the scenes with Facebook and things like that, and I did find out that those are illegal. I asked Gary if he wanted to set the record straight. He chose not to, so I moved forward and I filed a PDC complaint.
You can find a lot of these conversations and emails on, again, your website there, Dangercup.com, and there's a lot of there's sub areas for all 3 of the Shelton City Commissioners. So where do we go from here? Do you feel that the work that you've done in the last month helped sway the vote to move to a 7-person council? And do you see yourself putting your hat in or pondering a run for this newly formed version of government?
Yeah, I think just the idea of having a 3-person commission, I think that it easily allows 2 people to connect and pretty much just run the show. And I think what I've brought to light has swayed the people in voting for the council. And as far as me being on the council, I didn't do this for any political aspirations. I don't necessarily want to be on the council, but I do want what's best for the city of Shelton, and what's in place, I don't believe, is what's best for the city of Shelton. And if I'm that guy, then that's what I'll do.
Some of the folks that I had talked to, they were wondering if you had been given a lead on anything, on looking at anything from either within the city or outside of the city? Has anybody within the city come to you and said, hey, this isn't for me, but maybe you should go down this path or look at blank?
Yeah, no, nothing like that. I think just the idea of 3 people, 2 of them voting the same 95% of the time, kind of gives me a hint that there's probably something going on there. But now I do have people coming out, you know, from the community, as far as maybe Gary asking people to find out information, and yeah, I do have people reporting back to me now.
If it wasn't the 2-to-1 vote with Gary, Mayor Krantz, and Kathy McDowell, it'd be likely a 2-1 vote with Commissioner Moore and someone. How would that be? How is that different?
Yeah, that's a great point. That was one of my pushes for Proposition 1. I think just like I said, the structure of 3 people, it makes it easy for 2 people just to vote the same every time, and that one person to be irrelevant as well. I mean, as long as their vote goes. And
where do we go from here? Are you going to move out now into the county, or is this? I mean, I understand that this is a lot of work right now with the hundreds and hundreds of pages, but once maybe this settles down, are you going to look at expanding your impact?
Absolutely not. This has been a tremendous amount of work on my part. I hope the end result is that they see that the city doesn't want them anymore as far as Kathy and Gary go, and they step down. I am working with attorneys right now on filing an open government lawsuit. The using public resource for your own agenda, like when Gary read anti-Prop 1 stuff, when the campaign donation stuff, that is a PMA issue. The other issues are open government, and that's with the Attorney General, and I'm working with a few attorneys on filing that lawsuit.
It's also important, I think, to note that both Commissioner Krantz and Commissioner McDowell have since apologized for some of the actions that they have brought forth, or you have brought forth in some of these requests. So that is all there as well. You can find it all on his website, again, Dangercup.com. And we know that he has been kind of moving and shaking here in the community as of late. And thank you for coming on this morning.
Yeah, thanks
and
for having me.
talking about this. It's nice to get people involved in local government in any aspect, I would imagine. And here is just one other way that people are getting involved. Amazing that. And how it's kind of unfolded over the last couple of weeks. Well, Jason, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.